So the first two cards that really jumped out at me here is the Queen of Pentacles. And this is you finally getting into the place where you feel like you're making the money that you deserve, that you're looking for. And you're in a place where it is very financially lucrative, where you are getting a lot of, I want to say positive reception as well. And for once in your life, I feel like financial inflow is going to be very good from now until the end of this year, okay? And what's really another card that's linked up with the Queen of Pentacles here is the Ten of Pentacles. This is kind of like things that are built up very slowly. Okay, it's built up over time, but it is very consistent. It is also incredibly stable. And so I'm sensing, you know, with that Saturn period of the past few years, it was kind of like a rebirth process for many of you. And you really looked at your finances and you really looked at your career sector and you're trying to figure out, you know, what is the best logical step that I need to take so that I can secure a future for myself. Many of you are really adamant about, you know, planning for your retirement, planning to kind of like build up wealth so that you can leave a legacy for your children, so that you can leave something so that when you're gone, your children can inherit them. And then others really trying to build up wealth, savings, and especially, you know, investing in lucrative work projects, work assignments, or even like investment portfolios that I'm seeing here with this card. So you're making your money grow for you. And I do feel that there's going to be a lot of abundance and prosperity in the home environment. You're providing for your kids. No one is really worried about, you know, where the next meal is coming from. And I'm also sensing as well, you're building a lot of stability for your financial future. Okay. Another thing coming through, and this is something that kind of jumped out at me too. So this is your energy here, Scorpio. This is, it's a more nurturing quality because it's showing up here as the Queen of Cups, okay? So when it relates to people that you're dealing with, as well as how you connect to other people, I feel that emotionally, these emotional connections, what you might have realized coming into this month of October is that, you know, on the one hand, you're emotionally connected to another person and you want them to be okay. It's hard for you to sever the connection that you have with another person. You're very wound up with them. You're very emotionally invested. And many of you have gone through the process where you kind of stop taking care of yourself so that you can take care of either your relationship partners or your relationship partners. There was great demand. For whatever reason, I feel like you were neglecting your emotional needs to take care of other people around you, and especially relationship partners. The relationship partner comes up here as the King of Wands. So this is a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. And this is their sun, moon, or rising. It could be male or female, depending on, you know, who you're dealing with. But this is a male or female energy. This is somebody who is very, I want to say they're very loyal. They're very protective. And they really care about you. There's great, intense chemistry related, you know, in the interaction between you and them. But I feel like they're at a point where they're trying to figure things out for themselves. And they're at a point where they're trying to take a next step, a big leap in their financial life, in their career, in their professional life. And so they might be scoping out, you know, what's the next step for themselves. And so many of you are kind of like slaving away, taking care of your relationship partner. And the important thing for this month is to pull back this energy. Learn to take care of yourself, take care of your emotional needs, slow down and, you know, nurture yourself rather than dissipating your time, resources, energies, and you feel very depleted. And so if your partner is at a point where they're really concerned about their career, where they're, you know, putting in a lot of overtime at work, for example, and you feel a little bit sidelined, you feel like you're put on the back burner, it's really important to address these issues up front, okay, so that they don't breed resentment, okay? For your emotional health, we do have the Queen of Cups linked up here with the Empress. And the Empress, usually this card is about, abundance. It's about feeling very comfortable, feeling very confident in your own skin. When it shows up in the reverse position, I feel like for many of you professionally, you might be feeling a little bit like, do I have the skills? Do I have the knowledge? Am I capable? So there's a lot of self-doubt coming through for this month, whether or not you have the skills to do something, whether or not you're going to be able to succeed, whether or not things are going to work out in your relationship sector, and whether or not as well things are going to work out the way you anticipate in the financial sector. So the self-doubt, Scorpios, as with every water sign, I feel water signs are bogged down with a lot of self-doubt, a lot of negative self-talk too, because deep down there's a deep sense of insecurity, like, am I good enough? Is it the right thing for me? If it's the right thing for me, why does it take so long? Why is it so difficult? Because intuitively, you understand that when it's the right thing, it should flow. It should be smooth. It shouldn't require so much investment and so much work and so much back and forth. And so you're questioning the validity of either a relationship, or you're questioning the validity of, am I in the right career? Am I in the right place? Am I going to be able to make it and be successful? Because I feel like you feel like you're lacking in either experience, you feel you're lacking in either, self-confidence to be able to make the next step, to be able to make that leap to secure your financial future. This energy, if it doesn't exhibit a person, I do feel what it relates to is in the career front, once again, professionally, there are contracts that might be a little bit unclear. There are things that you might be deciding between you and, like either a supervisor, a higher up, a business partner, where you're trying to draw up contracts, you're trying to establish, procedures or baseline rules and regulations of how you need to bring, like what you need to contribute in a work environment, what they need to contribute. And things are left a little bit unclear. You're trying to push things along. You're trying to, smooth things out and push things along so that you both can come to an agreement or a consensus. And the person that you're dealing with is kind of dragging their feet. They're kind of like, let's just see what happens. Let's just see, how things are going to plan out. Let's just slow things down and not finalize anything. So it can be a little bit frustrating if you have contracts that needs to be signed, if you have legal issues that you're trying to get rolling or, get some closure on, and it's not coming or it's not happening in the manner that you'd hope, okay? And so I feel like the major theme for this month is really take it easy. Do not doubt yourself. Financial abundance is coming in plentifully. And so the negative self-talk, I don't feel that it's going to be conducive for anything. It's just like, worries that don't really lead to anything. So I feel like this is the month where you need to be very grounded. Take care of things one day at a time, one project at a time. Don't anticipate too much. What's going to happen in the future? Are we going to be okay? Is everybody going to be on board? Work as well. I mentioned this last month, you're dealing with very temperamental people. You're dealing with people without a lot of knowledge, without a lot of skills. And it's almost like, it's an environment where the energies are very young. You might be even dealing with young people. The energies are very young. So you feel it's almost like they're lacking in direction. They're competing with each other. And possibly some of you are in a position where you're hiring people and you're trying to decide the best candidate. And I feel like of all the people that are, putting in their candidacy, you're starting to realize that they might not have the necessary skills. So you might not choose any of these options that are on the table. Okay. So if you're like a hiring manager or you're in a position where you're hiring people, taking people on board, you're dealing with people who are young, temperamental, and they might not have enough experience under their belt. And so you're not really sure if you want to spend the time training them or investing in, building them up from scratch and then having them leave once they accumulated the skills. So I feel like there are a lot of things that you're juggling in the works sector, and you're making very, very important decisions that will set you up financially for the next few years or for the next decade even. So I feel like this is a big, big month And the energy is, don't doubt yourself. You know, you have the skills, you have the expertise, you're a very good judge of character. So if these people are coming in and they're trying to get a job from you, or they're trying to curry favor with you, go with the practical choice. Go with somebody that is consistent. So when you train them, you know, you spend the time training them, and the energy and the resources, even if they might be a little bit slow on the uptake, they're still going to be around when you need them, rather than choosing someone who's very dynamic, who's a little bit hot-headed, and then you end up, you know, you train them and then they end up leaving. Okay, they end up flying the nest. I do feel a big element here regarding children. So those of you who have children, so the Queen of Cups with the Page of Cups, this is usually like a family unit, and especially younger people. If you're dealing with younger people, if you have children, there might be some issues as it relates to movement. One person might want to move, like if you have children and you have an ex-partner that you share children with, one person might be thinking about a career change. They might want to change up the living arrangement. They might want to change up, you know, the I want to say like the custody arrangement within the relationship. I feel like this is a point where you need to revisit the situation, and you need to hash things out, or you need to cater to your partner if they want to change things up, or they want to change the terms of the custody. They want, you know, an increase in even child support, or they want to change their location, and they're coming to you and asking you whether or not it's okay, whether or not it's still possible for the two of you to have an arrangement. And I feel like there is a big element here about distance. I'm sensing a lot of distance. You might be very safe and secure and stable where you are right now. Your partner might want to move. Your partner might want more, or your ex-partner might want to move, and trying to figure out, you know, how is that going to work if I'm over here, you're over there, and the kids are split between us. Okay, so that's what I feel coming through for you guys. A lot of discussions here, a lot of serious discussions as well. And I feel like just, you know, approach it with a grain of salt. Let the other person talk. You might not get the negotiation going your way if you become hot-headed, or if you become like closed off. Okay, so the important thing is not to feel threatened. And the important thing is to be very grounded and to be very practical with the decisions that you're making, and to, you know, really think about what's best for the children if that's what you're dealing with.